All right. Welcome, everyone. And Kevin, if there we go. Thank you. I was going to ask you to go back to this slide. Thank you for joining us this evening. This is the HYNAC 7 How to Apply for Scholarship webinar. Um, uh, we are excited that you're here. We're excited that this process is underway and want to uplift our planning partners, Positive Women's Network, Positively Trans, and the U.S. People Living with HIV Caucus. I'm Tammy Haught, co-executive director of the SARA Project, and Kevin Lish, SARA's amazing finance director, is here along with Carrie Thomas, who will be joining us and helping us admit people into the webinar. So we're going to get started. If you'd please introduce yourself in the chat, your name, pronouns, and where you're from. That would be great. Next slide, please, Kevin. And like I said, this is the Scholarship Information Webinar. Next slide. Is just a little housekeeping. We ask that everyone stay on mute while we go through the slides about the process for the application. Please use the chat box for any questions to be captured for at the end of the call. Actually, we have two or three places throughout the presentation to answer questions about the specific things that we had just discussed. So there will be time, but if you want to drop them in the chat box or write them down until that time, that way you don't forget them. This webinar is being recorded, and the nomination process and a summary of this webinar with all the recording links shared in the chat box, and the slides will be shared afterwards. Please raise your hand so that we can keep track of who has a question and people aren't talking over each other. We will call on you when the time is when we're ready for questions. Next slide, please. Okay, so our agenda today is we are going to provide a little history of HYNAC, how we got here. We'll be discussing the nomination form. So the HYNAC 7 scholarship process is a two-part process. There is a nomination portion, and then there is the scholarship application portion. And we'll go into that more in detail in just a second. And then we'll also be talking a little bit about HYNAC logistics. That's our agenda for today. Next slide, please. So HYNAC history. The first HYNAC was hosted in 2014. Iowa was chosen for HYNAC 1. It is also known as the Grinnell Gathering. It was at Grinnell, Iowa, Grinnell College. And some of the reasons was Sean Strube is the founder of SARA, and myself, current ED, are both from Iowa. At the time, Iowa was a focal point for activism on HIV criminalization in the U.S. at the time. Nick Rhodes's case, his appeal was before the Supreme Court. The oral arguments were in May of 2014, so we knew a decision might come down late spring or early summer. And Iowa had been educating and educating legislators along with the community for over 5 years on our HIV specific law. Next slide, please. And Iowa was successful. We were successful. The Iowa legislature unanimously passed criminalization modernization in May of 2014. Governor Branstad signed it on May 30th, signed the bill on May 30th, and HYNAC started on June 2nd. So timing worked out perfectly for us. Next slide, please. For me, one of the greatest advocacy moments for me in my career has been at HYNAC. Our modernization bill retroactively removed anyone who was convicted under 709C removed them from the sex offender registry. The law wasn't supposed to go into effect until July 1st, but Senator Matt McCoy got permission from the parole board to cut the ankle monitors from Donald Bogardus and Nick Rhodes that they were required to wear. And so for me, these moments of celebration is what all this work is all about. Next slide, please. So one of the questions that we get is why a college campus? At first, it was economics. We learned that, but we learned at Grinnell that there are other advantages of a college campus other than it saves a heck of a lot of money. We can bring more people with the money that we save than expensive hotel rooms and hotel food or conference center food. We feel it is an ideal setting to create a learning environment. HINAC is the HIV is Not a Crime National Training Academy. It's not a conference. So having that learning environment is important. And what better place to learn than at a college or university? So everyone eats meals together. They get to know each other better and left with a sense of camaraderie and, quite frankly, family. We don't have quote unquote star speakers as we have focused from Grinnell to now on people living with HIV advocates and allies who are actually doing the work. And those are guiding principles for HINAC. Next slide, please. HINAC 2 was hosted in 2016 at Huntsville, Alabama. Next slide, please. HINAC 3 was in 2018 and at Indianapolis, Indiana. Next slide, please. And then COVID hit and we had to go virtual for HINAC 4. So we don't have the wonderful group pictures that we've have with others, but we connected the best way we could at the time. Next slide, please. HINAC 5 was hosted in 2023 at Emory in Virginia. Next slide. The last HINAC 6, was hosted in 2025 at Raleigh, North Carolina, University of North Carolina. Which brings us to now. Next slide, HINAC 7 and the planning process for that. We will just say right now up front, we are 99.9% sure that HINAC 7 will be hosted at the Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio. We have not signed the contract yet. We have a few formalities to go with, but like I said, 99.9% sure that is where we will host it. And the dates will be June 5th through 8th. So that's a Saturday through Tuesday. We have found out through 6 HINACs that travel on Saturday is more economical than other days during the week. And plus, then it provides an opportunity that people don't have to be off quite so many days of work to attend HINAC. Next slide, please. So something important to know is our scholarship process timeline. So today, August 20th, we are having this informational webinar. Later on this afternoon or this evening, after we get the recording link from this Zoom, I will upload it to various documents that will be shared. And then we will have the call for nominations or the nomination process, which will start later on today. And we will provide more details on that in just a minute. The nomination process closes on September 27th. So this is a two-step process for the scholarships. You must be nominated first before you receive the scholarship application. So we close off the nomination process and then give a couple weeks yet for people to fill out the scholarship, and more details will follow, giving so that you have more information on that. A scholarship status notification letter to applicants will go out around December 17th. We hate to do it before the holidays. However, we have different processes lined up. And so that way people have an idea of whether or not they have received a scholarship before the abstract process closes. So we don't want to ruin anyone's holidays, but, timelines, deadlines, that's what we're going to do so that it helps with the abstract process. Folks will have, after they are notified if they receive a scholarship, everyone will know whether or not they receive a scholarship. If you do receive a scholarship, you have until February 18th to confirm the scholarship and pay the reduced registration fee. And we'll get back to that in a little bit. And then everyone who receives a scholarship needs to attend the What to Expect webinar. That date is yet to be determined, but we will include that. We will have that before the December 17th date of when people know whether or not they have received a scholarship. Next slide, please. So just again, important scholarship timelines. The nomination form closes September 27th at 10 p.m. Eastern. The scholarship form closes October 15th at 10 p.m. Eastern. Next slide, please. So this is our first stop for a break. Are there any questions about those timelines? There might be a lot of questions about the nomination process and the scholarship application. Please hold those, but are there any questions about the history or anything, Teresa?
So I know, I think that some people are going to wonder, well, what happens if I don't get a scholarship?
Well, then we are hoping that you can fundraise to get there. We will have some ideas that we can help provide with. I know for other conferences, people have done GoFundMe's and different opportunities like that.
I also want to just put it out there that if you don't get a scholarship, it's always best if you work for an organization to see if your organization can fund you or fund you partly to get to this conference. Especially if you work for an organization that is invested in HIV criminalization and HIV services.
Yes, thank you so much for that, adding that, Teresa. Very important. Miguel?
Hey, Tammy. Yeah, I wanted to ask if this is only for people inside the US or is also for people from outside?
No, unfortunately, this is only for US. Right now, I'll be honest. I don't know that the US is safe to bring people from outside the country.
Yeah.
And we have a very small staff. So we don't have, and limited funding. So we don't have funding for all translation needs and different things like that. But scholarships right now are for people in the US only.
But what about the project per se, like the studies? Is it like for criminalization inside the states or like HIV criminalization in general? Like what you do there?
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
What we will study there is only about criminalization inside the United States, or is it about like HIV criminalization in general?
We have had sessions before about criminalization globally as well. We have not received the abstracts yet, so I can't say for sure what abstracts will be submitted and selected. So we haven't really worked on the program yet to be able to let you know what will be discussed in the program.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking. All right, next question, or next slide, please. I don't see any other hands. All right, the nomination form. This is going to be an overview of the nomination process. Next slide, please. So, an overview. To avoid application burnout and copy and paste letters of recommendation, 2 years ago, we created this two-step process for scholarships, starting with the nomination process. So you must get someone to nominate you. This is not a self-nomination process. The nomination form, like I said, will become available after this webinar, after we get the recording link and get that linked in the nomination form, in a summary report I've drafted, and the application. After somebody is nominated, the nominee needs to watch for an email for the link to the scholarship application. So we will not make the scholarship application widely available. You will only receive the scholarship application after your nomination, after the nomination form is completed, and then you will receive a link to the scholarship application. Step 3, nominees will respond by filling out the scholarship application. Step 4, applications will be reviewed and scored. Step 5, all applicants will be notified whether or not they were awarded a scholarship or not. The nominator needs to have this is very important because this has caused issues in the past. When you ask somebody to nominate you, you need to make sure that you provide them with your current contact information. People have forgotten that step before, and the nominator has provided an email address that the nominee no longer uses or checks. So you must make sure that your nominator has your current contact information. Next slide, please. Because we can only use the information that is provided to us. So we ask that that in your role as a nominator, so this is for the person that you asked to nominate you, we have these following guidelines. Once again, this is not a self-nomination process. You must have another individual nominate you to be considered. It is a two-step process. One for the nominator and one for the person being nominated. Next slide, please. For nominators, just so you know, a nominator can only nominate up to 3 different advocates. Any nominations received after the 3rd individual will not be considered. If there needs to be an edit to an original nomination, you can either contact me, and let me pull up the chat box. I haven't had that open. I'll put my email in the chat box. It's tammy.hott@ceroproject.com. To make changes. This isn't to eliminate who applies or attends, but to prevent one individual from being asked to nominate more than 3 people and being overwhelmed. Because who you ask to nominate you, part of the scoring and part of the review process is also answers that the nominator provides in the nominator form. So you want somebody who hasn't filled out 5 of these and says, basically the same thing about all 5 people, because reviewers do notice that. So that's why we've limited it to 3 so that they can be more personalized. Each advocate can only be nominated once. Your chances to receive a scholarship do not increase because more than one person nominates you. So, we had one person who was nominated about 10 times one year. That is not helpful at all. You just need one nomination. Next slide, please. Priority consideration for HINAC 7 scholarships are to people living with HIV, people who have not previously attended a HINAC 1 through 6, the transgender community, survivors of HIV criminalization, advocates from southern states. This does not mean that others will not receive a scholarship and the opportunity. We encourage everyone to apply for a scholarship. We are simply focusing on uplifting communities most impacted by the over-policing and criminalization of HIV. Next slide, please. Okay, so now some information that we ask on the nomination form. You may contact those that are nominating ahead of time so that they are prepared to keep an eye out for their emails. So it's always nice if whoever you reach out to, they let you know when they have nominated you, just so that you can be on the lookout for the scholarship application that will be coming. Once you have submitted your nomination form, then I will be contacting the nominees with the scholarship application. The scholarship application will only be sent to the individuals nominated to confirm they can apply for a scholarship. Any applications we receive without a nomination will not be considered or accepted. So once you're nominated and you receive that scholarship application, do not forward that to anyone else, because if they have not been nominated, it will be deleted and they will lose that opportunity. But this is also why it's important that whoever you ask to nominate, you also provide the information, your correct information, because I can only send the scholarship form to the email addresses that I am provided from that nomination form. So please, I can't stress it enough. Make sure your nominee knows your email address. Next slide, please. All scholarship recipients will be required to pay a reduced registration fee for HINAC 7. We encourage the nominator to work with the individual they nominate if assistance is needed. Sort of like Teresa said, if you can ask an ASO or an organization to help cover that, that would be great. The fee will be due by February 18th, 2027. Please ensure those that you are nominating are aware of the registration fee, and so that they are prepared for that as well. Next slide, please. And this is the structure. So there are 3 different levels for scholarships. There's level 1, which is a registration scholarship. So it's the reduced fee of $100, and this includes registration, dining, lunch, and dinner. Level 2 is registration and lodging, but not transportation, and that reduced fee is $150. It includes the dining and lodging on campus. Scholarship lodging only covers lodging on campus. And then level 3 is a full scholarship, which is the reduced registration fee, which includes dining, which is breakfast, lunch, and dinner, the lodging on campus, and the most cost-effective transportation. We will give out approximately 50 to 75 scholarships, depending on the funding secured and the level of scholarships given out. So obviously a level 1 registration doesn't cost as much as a level 3 when it includes full dining, registration and travel. But we are continuing. Kevin is working hard to secure as much funding as possible so that our goal for HYNAC is always to bring as many people as we possibly can. So yeah, we're hoping to be able to bring 75 people, but we don't know that for sure right now. We're still busy raising funds. Next slide, please. So on the nominator form, what your nominator will need from you is your first and last name. Or nope, sorry, the first information is about the nominator, their first and last name, their title if applicable, organization if applicable, their email address and phone number. We also ask if the nominator has ever attended a HYNAC. This just helps us understand the nominator's familiarity with HYNAC, but it's not scored whether or not somebody. You do not have to have attended a HYNAC to nominate somebody. You just need to know your nominee's advocacy journey, their work, and who they are as an individual. Next slide, please. Then we ask a few, other questions. If they work for an organization, does it currently work on decrim efforts? And then an important one, how do you know the person you are nominating? Just a couple of questions from the nominator. Then we ask questions about their nominee, their first and last name, their email address. This is where we need the current email address that you use and check daily or as often as you check your email. The state that the nominee resides in. Ask if your state has an HIV specific statute, and we use the link from the Center for HIV Law and Policy for folks to check if their state has an HIV specific statute. Next slide, please. Then we ask for a brief overview of the nominee's advocacy experience. This is why the nominator needs to know you. Oops, I did not change these two. It should say, why should they be selected to receive a scholarship to attend HYNAC 7, not HYNAC 6? There are two places in there that I didn't get that caught. What can you do to assist the person you are nominating to work with them in effectively utilizing the lessons from their experiences after attending HYNAC 7? We really want people to go back home and do something with the information they gain at HYNAC. So it's important to know this is holding the scholarship awardee, if somebody's awarded a scholarship, accountable for what they learn and bringing it back to the community. That's so important to us. And then that's it. They submit, they hit submit, and their job is done as a nominator. Then that information goes into that Google form. I receive that information, and then I send out the scholarship application to whoever was nominated. Next slide, please. So we have created sorry, we're going to ask everyone if you can please mute. There we did. I got that. Please stay on mute so that there isn't that confusion or extra noise, so it's more complicated for people to hear. We have created a nominator guide. Now, this is a forced copy. So, Kevin, can I get you to click on that and let's see if your screen switches over? Sorry, I didn't ask you before. I just want to show people this is when we say it's a forced copy. This is what you will see after you click on it. It is to make a copy. And so you would push that blue button, make a copy. That way, the document, any information that you attend, if you push make a copy, please, Kev. This is what we are encouraging people to fill out to send to whoever you are asking to nominate you. So if you go down, this asks the information that we ask on the nominator form, just so that person has time to think through their answers. But this is where the person who wants to be nominated fills this out with their name and their email address. Like I said, having that current email address means everything. But that way you can answer these questions and provide it to the nominator so they have it when they fill out the application. Or, excuse me, the nomination form. So I just wanted to show people what a forced copy is in case people haven't seen it before. It's just so if we didn't do a forced copy, whoever filled this information out first, their information would be there. And then the next person who came into it would have to delete their information and then fill in their own. That's what the forced copy is. Now, if I could get you to go back to the slides, please, Kev. All right, thank you. Next slide. And I believe this is for questions. That was a lot of information on the nominator form. Oh, so this is just what's on the nominator guide that we just showed you. So next slide. And the next slide. Yep, one more. So those are the questions that are on the nominator form. And so now if there's any questions about the nominator form, and Olga, I see your hand is raised.
Yeah, after this webinar and all that, you're gonna send out like the link for that forced copy for us to do. And that forced copy you'll be able to send to the person who we want to nominate us.
Yes, Olga. After we get this and we get the recording link that we'll upload it to Sarah's YouTube channel. And then put that link in the different forms. We will send it out to everyone who has registered for this webinar. We send it out through Sarah's Google group. We ask the planning partners to send it out to their communities and listservs. And then Eric also shares it on social media. So there are many different ways to get the information, but it will all be included in a summary report.
Because that's
Marie?
the hard copy, and I was just making sure I'll be able to send it out.
Yes, it will be sent out. Yes.
My question is, does it have to be somebody within the HIV community that also works within the community to nominate us, or it can just be a community member that we know?
It can be a community member who is familiar with your advocacy efforts. So it does not have to be in the HIV community, just somebody who knows you and knows the work that you do.
Okay, thank you.
Great question. Thank you. Valerie.
Hey everybody. I just wanted to ask, after the nominator nominates you, then that's when we have to, when we get ready to do the scholarship part, that's when we have to pay the money, right?
No, you don't have to pay until after you receive confirmation if you receive
Yes, that's what I'm
a
talking about.
scholarship or not.
Yes, ma'am.
So
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
yeah, and then you'll have until February of 2027 to make that payment.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. Any other questions? Is there anything in the chat box? I haven't seen anything. But and I don't see any other hands. You can always, we can come back to it afterwards. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Kevin, who is going to talk about the scholarship application. Thank you, Kev.
Thanks, Tammy. So now let's go on and talk a little bit about the scholarship application. So you've been nominated and you received your scholarship application link from Tammy. And now we're going to go over what you need to do next to complete the application. So, reminder, We're going to tell you this a lot, but we just want to make sure it's crystal clear for everybody. This is a process. The scholarship application for the Training Academy HiNac 7. You will only be filling this out after you've been nominated and you've received the link to the application from Tammy, who is the HiNac 7 scholarship chair. As a nominee to apply for scholarship to HiNac 7, please know that priority consideration for scholarship awards will be given to people living with HIV, people who have not previously attended HiNacs 1 through 6, folks in the transgender community, survivors of HIV criminalization, and advocates from southern states. It's important that you take your time and follow the application instructions carefully and read the questions. And if you do have questions before you submit, please let Tammy know. Her email is there and she's already put it in the chat. And of course, one of the things that will come out with the recording are the slides, and they will have all these hyperlinks that are in the slides for you to be able to grab any of this information. For you to be, so always, again, remember, for you to be filling out an application, you had to have been nominated and received the link for the application by the deadline. Applications received by someone that was not submitted through the nomination process are considered incomplete and will not be considered for a scholarship. So remember that you must find a person to nominate you. And Tammy, remind me real quick, I think if I remember from past HiNacs, Searle staff are not able to nominate folks. Isn't that something that we okay.
That is correct. Yeah, we just take that pressure off from us. We don't want to, we want to be transparent. Searle staff does not nominate anyone.
So again, you can choose which scholarship level to apply for. You can go for level 1. If you have a way to get to the training academy, you can apply for a level 1 scholarship, which will be your registration and dinner and lunch. So again, if you want to not stay in a dorm and would rather stay in a hotel, you can join us in the morning. You won't have to leave campus. You can have dinner and lunch with us, so you can attend the entire training academy day. Level 2 is registration and lodging. So if you have, again, a way to get to the training academy, you can apply for a scholarship that will cover your registration fee and all dining and a room in the whichever dorm we are assigned. And then level 3 is a full scholarship, which includes everything in level 1 and level 2, and the most cost-effective transportation, which I'll define for you in a minute. So if you go for a level 1, your reduced registration fee is $100. If you go for level 2 and get the scholarship, that fee is $150. And if you're awarded a level 3 scholarship, your fee will be $200. And we use the cost from HiNac 6, but as of right now, an average value of a scholarship is right at $2,100, and we hope that we're going to be able to do at least 50 to 75. We have just started gearing up fundraising, so that is our goal. Some scholarship guidelines. If you're awarded a full scholarship, which includes transportation, that will cover the most cost-effective mode of transportation. That might be shared rides, the bus, train, or air. We do not cover, as part of a full scholarship, check bag fees. This you will need to be responsible for yourself. Tammy's already let you know that it's 99.99% probably going to be at the Ohio State. When we did our site visit, there are lovely laundry facilities, and if I remember correctly, there's no charge. There's no detergent, but we'll make sure there's detergent in the laundry room, so you can pack light, and if you need to do a little laundry, the facilities will be there for you. We also don't cover transportation to your home, to your airport you're going to fly out of, or train station you're going to go out of, or bus station, or when you fly back home or go back home. Again, your parking is not covered at the airport or your transportation back home. And we don't cover food and incidentals incurred while traveling to or from the training academy. By filling out the scholarship application, we're going to ask you to agree to a couple of expectations. First, we really want you to attend the HINAC What to Expect webinar. We have not determined the date yet. It will be sometime in May of 2027 before we get to campus. And we're going to detail important information about the training academy, like logistics of arrival, your itinerary, sessions overview, and host committee campus guidelines. And we're also going to ask you to go to the entire training academy, including all sessions. We are really committed, both Saro and the other planning partners, to ending HIV criminalization. And so we take the training academy seriously. And if we really want people there that want to go home and help us end HIV criminalization, there have been 15 or 16 states that have either reformed through repeal or modernization. All of them have their roots, all of those efforts have their roots at HINAC 1 through 6. So this is a really important training academy, and we feel it is the best way to end HIV criminalization once and for all. So the scholarship application. These are the things we're going to ask you to put on it. Your first and last name, your address, city, state, and zip. And we've got to have all this information. Your current email address, your phone number. We only use that as a last resort for communications in case of any changes or alerts, usually when someone is trying to get there or go home. If you're affiliated with an organization, please let us know what type of organization you're employed by. Do you participate in scholarship webinar or did you view the recording? Just wanting to know how many people either attended this or viewed the recording, and hopefully it was helpful when you fill out your application. We're going to ask for some demographic information, HIV status, gender identity, pronouns, sexual orientation, age, range, and race. We'd also like to know, what key populations do you self-identify with? We need to know your emergency contact info, of course. We would like to know any language access needs you may have. Same for mobility access. And we're going to ask some miscellaneous questions. What are your concerns? Advocacy-related concepts. Have you ever been personally charged under an HIV-specific law? Have you attended HINAC in the past? And this is where we're going to start matching up all the information. Who nominated you? We're going to ask you to put down the name of the person that nominated you. We're also going to ask, just to gauge your level of advocacy experience, have you ever attended AIDS Watch in Washington, D.C.? And have you ever attended a past training academy? Now, there's a divide here, you can see in yellow. Moving forward, these are the actual responses that will be scored on the scoring of the scholarship applications. First question is, have you ever heard of the Denver Principles? Next question, what do the Denver Principles mean to you? Please provide 1 to 2 sentences describing how it impacts your life and advocacy. Have you ever heard of meaningful involvement of people living with AIDS, HIV, MIPA, or the greater involvement of people living with AIDS, HIV, GIPA? What is MIPA or GIPA? Where have you seen this practice? What did it mean to you? Please provide 1 or 2 sentences describing how it impacts your life and advocacy. If you've attended, now you're probably not going to be able to answer all of these, and when you get to this part of the application, if a question doesn't apply to you, just type NA or not applicable. If you've attended HINAC before, what was something you did in your state with the information you took home? So how did you use the information the last time you attended HINAC when you went back home? If you attended HINAC and wasn't able to use what you learned, we'd really like to know the barriers that contributed to that to see if we can help get rid of those barriers. If this is your first time attending HINAC, what do you hope to gain from sessions to use when you get back home? And each question that is applicable to you on your application, please remember bullet points can be your best friends. And it would be great to get 5 bullet pointed activities or ideas. And again, if the response doesn't apply to you, please enter NA for not applicable. Next question we're going to ask is, please provide a brief 1-paragraph statement telling us anything else you'd like to share about your experience that will help us understand who you are and why you should be selected for the HINAC 7 Training Academy Scholarship. While all people are encouraged to apply, the scholarship process is designed to support new and emerging advocates, especially those from communities that are historically underrepresented in U.S. HIV policy and advocacy. It's really always interesting to me. The same people that are underrepresented in U.S. HIV policy and advocacy also seem to be the same people that get charged under these laws more than others. You will be asked to indicate the most cost-effective transportation option for you to get you to and from HINAC 7. Keep it in mind that flights will be from the closest airport to the closest airport at the site for HINAC 7. And, you know, if you are selected for a scholarship and you weren't sure about that answer, Monique Keat will be our travel coordinator again, and either Monique or I will help you figure that out. So don't give us your best answer there, even though if it's not quite correct, don't worry about it. We'll figure out if you're awarded a scholarship. For travel arrangements, we're going to need your date of birth, your full name, and gender as it appears on your government state-issued identification. That's the way we'll book any travel for you. And if you fly, that way you will hopefully have an easy, hassle-free experience getting through security and onto your gate to get on your plane. If you're not flying and within driving distances, you may be asked if you're interested in a ride sharing. And if so, can we connect you with other advocates that may get a scholarship near you or other people that are coming? Until we know for sure where the final site is, Amtrak may be an option. If we do end up in Ohio State, Amtrak will not be an option there. It will be air or rideshare or bus. For those selected for scholarships, the process will be required. Again, what are we going to expect of you for the scholarship? We want you to attend the What to Expect webinar sometime in May 2027. We'll let you know as soon as we determine the date. We want to discuss logistics, what to pack. We can answer a lot more questions. We'll be under full contract with the school where we'll have HINAC 7. There is a required reduced registration fee from $100 to $200 for folks that get a scholarship, depending on which level you applied for. Please keep this in mind. And if you need help fundraising, remember to work with the individual who nominated you to get those reduced registration fees paid. And again, this is not something that you can self-nominate for. For you to be completing the scholarship form, you must be nominated by another individual to be considered. And after that, you're at the finish line. You are ready to hit submit. I am pretty sure that the next slide is a pause for questions. So let's see who has some questions about the scholarship application. Any questions?
I didn't see anything in the chat box. You did a better job than I did,
Wow.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one.
Hey, yeah. Hey, Val, come on. What
Hey,
can I help you with?
So all we have to do is send the nominator form to whoever we want to nominate us, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha.
It's always best if you fill out that nominator guide first and send the guide to whoever you want to nominate. That way they have the correct information. The nominator Google form is linked into that guide. So that is our preference. Like I
Okay,
said, we cannot be held responsible if we receive an email that you do not respond to. We just want to make sure that everyone is aware. The nominator can only do with the information that they have. We can only
yes,
do what we can do with the information that we receive from them. So we strongly encourage you to do that forced copy, fill in your answers on the
fill in
nomination
mine
guide,
first
and
and
send
then send
that.
it to them. Okay,
Yes,
so yeah, fill in my part, our part first, and then send it to the nominator.
correct.
You got it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Great question. Thank you,
Hey,
Valerie. Marie.
Hey, Marie.
Hi there. I raised my hand. I guess I could have figured it out later, but since there weren't any questions being asked, do you take where the person's located in consideration? For example, I live in Arizona, and if going to Ohio, that's like a 3-day bus ride. And I'm not sure my health or financially I would be able to be 6 days
We're,
in commute to get there.
we are not going to ask someone from Arizona. I'm from Idaho, and
Okay.
I am not putting my big butt in a bus, Marie, and I'm not going to ask you to do that either.
Okay.
So those kind of distances, we're gonna get you a plane ticket to come to Hynek.
Okay,
But
fantastic. Thank you.
if you get a scholarship and you're from Cincinnati, and if you don't want to drive, we would probably put you on a bus, because it just would be so much less money to use a bus in that situation than fly someone from Cincinnati to Columbus.
1000%.
But if I
Thank
can
you for that.
also uplift Valerie just to or Marie, I'm sorry. We do take into location as well. We want to bring in as many people from across the country as possible. So that is one of the things that we look at to, it doesn't make sense to bring, say, 10 people from one state and not bring anyone from another state. So we do take that into consideration because we want to bring in as much diversity to represent the community as a whole when we do the review process and make selections.
But and just a little commercial. I think Hynek 6 travel went really, really well. We can all thank Monique Keat for that. Monique used to be a travel agent, and she took really good care of everyone that received a scholarship to Hynek 6. Cecilia, what is your question?
Will we get a chance? Will we get a copy of this presentation along with other information that you were giving out?
Yes, yes. As soon as the recording is available from Zoom, we have an entire, I think it's either 2 or 3 page information sheet with all this information. It'll be emailed to everyone that registered and attended the Zoom.
Thank you.
Thank you. Charlie
He has his hand raised.
Yeah, thank you. Do we know, scholarship aside, what is just the cost of attending? And then I guess the cost of attending with lodging and food, not with travel, but like I'm guessing there's two different sort of costs if we were not to have a scholarship and pay the whole thing. Do we know that?
Not yet. Once we are under contract with the chosen university, we'll be able to build the budget and determine all that. But Charlie, I would assume that we will have that out sometime mid-September to mid-October, and we'll make sure that Eric puts it out in a press release, third Thursday, all the other ways that he does such a great job at communication. Anything
There is a
else?
question in the chat box, Kevin. Somebody asked if they attended Hynek 6, should you step aside for someone who never attended before?
Wow. I
You want me to take a stab at that?
yeah, I take a stab at that one. I don't know how to answer
I
that.
would say not necessarily. Stephen, thank you for asking, and thank you for recognizing making space for other people. But we encourage everyone to apply. We don't know how many applications we're going to get. We don't know how much funding we're going to get. And if you don't apply, you definitely can't get a scholarship. So it's always better, to apply. Now, if you've been to all six, you might want to step back and that. But if you haven't been, um, we can't award a scholarship if we don't have an application. Let me put it that way.
And not to confuse anyone, but there will be another, if you're thinking about submitting an abstract for a workshop at HYNAC, Sarah will soon be announcing a new program, brand new for HYNAC 7, called AMP for HYNAC, which is another way for folks that have submitted an abstract that's selected for a workshop to get help bringing presenters to do the workshop. So I would say I agree with Tammy now. Submit the application, and if you have an interest to do an abstract, if you get a scholarship, that's great. You have your way there to do your abstract workshop. And if you are going to do an abstract, keep looking at Sarah, because we will have those details on AMP for HYNAC out as soon as we are got them all nailed down. Any other questions? Let's talk some logistics.
Don't see any others.
So again, registration is a tiered, reduced registration fee for scholarship recipients, which includes training materials and meals as follows, and based on your scholarship level. Again, you'll arrive Saturday and we'll have dinner for folks. Sunday and Monday, all meals are provided. Tuesday, we provide breakfast and a box lunch for us to go to the airport and go home. Please remember, no one under 18 is attended to attend HYNAC or be on the campus. And in fact, we haven't seen this part of the contract yet, of course, but normally the contract we sign at a university, anyone that's not registered for HYNAC is not allowed to be on the campus. So keep that in mind too. We did want to give you a little bit of a preview where we're so pretty sure it's going to be at Ohio State. Here is a picture of a dorm room that a student has made it their home, but you're going to get to see what some of the facilities are like at Ohio State. Lodging. It's going to be 3 nights, Saturday through Tuesday. And we will know what style of suites we have by the end of September. Here is a typical two-bed suite, both the floor plan and also a picture of an empty suite at Ohio State. So, what each scholarship recipient will receive: a bed, and any of you that's been in a dorm room in the last few years know that they save a lot of space by putting the beds up high. For those of you that are younger, and put a slide desk underneath it. All beds will be lowered to a normal bed height with an extra long mattress. Linens will be provided: sheets, pillowcase, a pillow, towel, 1 towel, and a washcloth. Those will be the things that we go over during what to expect. You may want to bring an extra towel. You'll have a wardrobe or a closet to put your clothes in, a desk and a chair, a technology locker and or dresser. The rooms in Ohio State do have a shared micro fridge combination unit, and there will be waste and recycle bins. Please remember, if you haven't flown for a while, we now have to have a star card in order to get through airport security as of May 7th, 2025. If you're selected for a scholarship, we will send you another Google form. And one of the things we're going to ask is if you have a real ID or a star card or other acceptable ID. When you get this slide, you'll notice this identity document here. When you hit that hyperlink, it'll take you to the Department of Homeland Security And it will show you what other documents you can use to fly in the United States right now. Summary. So you understand that the value of a level 3 scholarship is around $2,000. We're going to ask for the following commitment to the following to honor the process of receiving a scholarship. We're going to ask you to come to every plenary. We're going to ask you to pick a breakout session to attend in every breakout time slot. We're going to ask you to respect the rules and guiding principles set forth by the Executive Committee for HYNAC 7 in regards to the contract we have to sign with the college and our planning partners. I understand that if I receive a scholarship, you'll be sleeping in a dorm room. You also further understand if you receive a scholarship, you'll be eating at a college cafeteria. If you receive a scholarship and do not show up, that means someone who was really serious about joining us at HYNAC 7 was not able to attend, and it also puts you at jeopardy for not receiving a scholarship in the future. If something happens and you just can't make it, please let Tammy, Kamaria, any Sero staff member know as soon as possible. Now, should we go on with the announcements, Tammy, or stop for more questions, or what do you think? Should we?
Let's go ahead, and we just have a few announcements that we wanted to share and other opportunities that are available. So if you have any questions, we have like 4 more slides. Just keep them in mind. But that way, some people have already had to jump for different meetings, we can get through this. And Kevin and I will stay on for any questions.
So announcement 1. Sero Project Justice Institute, after a brief hiatus, is now accepting applications. And I think Tammy's going to drop the link to the application, which is hyperlinked here, or you can take a look at it when you get the slides. SPJI, or Sero Project Justice Institute, is a year-long program developed to help your leadership and advocacy skills so we can grow our decriminalization movement across the United States. This is something that's really important. You're going to have a chance to see and learn about the Caucus Steering Committee application. The U.S. People Living with HIV Caucus is looking to have new members for their steering committee. The caucus does such great work for every one of us living with HIV. It is something that we all need to support, either through our membership or taking our turn to help the caucus on the steering committee. So you're going to get information to take a look at that and consider whether or not you'd like to go for a spot on the steering committee. Another way to attend HYNAC is through the HYNAC 7 Humanities Art Contest. And that webinar and how to apply to with your art will be August 25th, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 Central, 4 Mountain, 3 Pacific. So if you are an artist, I think there are 3 different categories: spoken word, written word, and I can't read. Tammy can't remember the third one. I'm sorry.
Spoken, visual, and written.
Yeah. And so when you get the slides, again, it'll be dropped in the chat. To register for that webinar, you'll be able to do it again as soon as you get the slides. And finally, AMP grants, our third cohort, our third cohort under our current grant, or our 6th cohort. I can't believe it's been that many cohorts. The application opened on Tuesday, and we're accepting applications through September 30th. There's the hyperlink to the application, and the deadline to submit an AMP grant for $10,000 if you haven't had one before is September 30th, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 Central, 3 Mountain, and 3 Pacific time. And I believe that is the last slide. I'm going to quit sharing so we can see each other and see what other questions you all may have. Kanisha.
Hello. Can everybody hear me?
Sure.
Yeah, because um, I'm kind of um, I'm kind of coming in late. So I have multiple questions. Cause what's the first one is where they having high neck this year?
Well, HYNAC is right now tentatively scheduled, 99.9% tentatively scheduled for June 5th through the 8th, 2027 in Columbus, Ohio at the Ohio State University.
Okay. My next my next question is
Kevin, I'm having trouble hearing you, Kanisha. I don't know if Kevin can hear you, but I can't hear you at all.
hold on, hold on.
All of this information will be sent out to everyone who registered. It will also be shared through the CERO Google group. We ask our planning partners to send this information out. So it will all come in a summary report to you along with the recording link, because I believe I heard you say that you came in late. So you will be able to go back to hear the first part of the information as well. But I apologize. I having trouble hearing you, but all the information will be shared.
And
Okay.
everything, including the application process, right?
No, I'm sorry, Kanisha, I can't hear you either now. I apologize. Cecilia.
A part of that Justice Institute scholarship asks that you have attended a high neck before, where they ask, have you? If you never attended, does that make you not qualified for the Justice Institute?
Not at all. Not at all. I'm, we have introduced so many applications in the last few weeks. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I do not believe that is an informational only question on that application, Cecilia. That is not a scored question. That's just information for us internally.
Correct, Kevin. You do not have to attend. It's just something that we do ask folks if they have attended or not, but it's not a requirement for SPJI. It's not a requirement for this HYNAC scholarship either. It's just an informational question.
Can I follow up with another question? So you said this is HYNAC 6. So every HYNAC section 1 through 5, are they all the same, or is there something different? Because I hear you saying people who've been before can go again. So is the information like updated information? Is it all the same 1 through 5, or I'm just asking?
The HYNACs are constantly changing. We are really proud. HIV is not a crime national training academy. In my opinion, it's the only training academy / conference designed for people living with HIV by people living with HIV. I'm helping Tammy out today with scholarships. I am one of the co-chairs along with Ebony Turk for another process that's going to kick off in November. It's the abstract process, and we reach out to our community to provide abstracts for 21 workshop spaces at each HYNAC. So the workshops that are typically done at a HYNAC are from people that you see on the screen here, people that have worked to either reform a law through modernization or repeal, or are in the process of building really strong coalitions to get that job done. So it really is a training academy. You're going to learn how to end HIV criminalization from folks like Tammy who have actually done it, or groups like the LCCH in Louisiana, HMM in Indiana, that are LCCH just modernized. HMM is coming on strong and is building quite a team to do it in Indiana. But you are going to learn from people on the ground, actually doing the work on how you can get it done in your state as well.
Thank you.
Great question. And actually, just to clarify, we are on 7. We've already hosted 6. And each one has been different and unique in its own way. I also wanted to point out, I added into the chat box that all the information will also be shared through Sarah's Third Thursday, which is our newsletter, which came out today. If you're not receiving it, you can sign up at the link that I included. So to stay updated on Sarah's programming, webinars, all of these different programs that we offer, that is one way to stay connected, is to fill out that Google form and you will be added and receive our Third Thursday.
Thank you.
I know we went over a little bit. We appreciate you all staying until the end. Kevin and I are available to stay on. Well, I guess I didn't ask Kevin, but I'm available to stay on if you have any questions. But we want to make sure that people who need to hop off for other commitments can do that as well. All right. Well, Kevin, if you want to stop the recording.
Yep.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. We look forward to seeing your nomination and then applications.
Have a great evening.